Hey. Yeah? Tell him that story you were telling me. Couple boys clock out about 5:35, trying to put a little hammer in their head. Standing in the liquor store staring at a fifth, but they picked up a handle instead. Hell right. Hell right. Hell right. Okay. Couple girls with their boots on, got their Bluetooth on, t-shirts saying go Sooners. Then the girl from the small town took off the old town, put on a little Hank Jr. Thank God. Hell right. She got all her rowdy friends coming over tonight. Hell right. Hell right. Everybody's throwing down on a Friday night somewhere in America. There's a bottle to burn and a fire to light, and you ain't done nothing if you did it halfway. If you're gonna raise hell, then you better damn raise hell right. Hell right. Hell right. There's a guitar on the ground that was making some sound till somebody pulled a hillbilly slip. Now there's fog on the window. She never would have kissed him if he didn't play a lick like this. Hell right. Hell right. Hell right. Hell right. Everybody's throwing down on a Friday night somewhere in America. There's a bottle to burn and a fire to light, and you ain't done nothing if you did it halfway. If you're gonna raise hell, then you better damn raise hell right. Hell right. Hell right. Now 7 a.m., damn if there ain't an empty handle on a square hay bale. Everybody's passed out drunk, but when they wake up, they're all gonna hurt like hell right. Yeah, boy. Hell right. Hell right. Everybody's throwing down on a Friday night somewhere in America. There's a bottle to burn and a fire to light, and you ain't done nothing if you did it halfway. If you're gonna raise hell, then you better damn raise hell right. Hell right. Hell right.
You're listening to the House of Cards on the Big Patriot Radio Network.
Introducing to you. You're on House of Cards. Live on Facebook and YouTube. It's going down now. Locked and loaded with the truth.
And welcome again, everybody. Thursday night. Tonight's show and broadcast is brought to you by the folks at WeThePatriotShop.com. That's WeThePatriotShop.com/big. Make sure you put that BIG on at the end. WeThePatriotShop.com/big. You can check them out there or call them at 518-538-2877. That's 518-538-2877. Ask about their grass-fed, hormone-free, best-tasting black Angus beef. Buddy, get the backyard barbecue up and going with the folks over at WeThePatriotShop.com/big.
Locked and loaded.
Let's go.
Big Patriot Radio. Blues, news, country pop, and classic rock.
All right. Welcome again, everybody. It is Thursday night time for another round of Beaufort County's House of Cards. Glad to have you here. My name is Mike Covert. Glad to be with you and have you with us. Want to thank all the folks for tuning in tonight, and for those that are going to watch later on a tape delay, where usually every week between the different forums, rather, that are forums of tuning in. We're getting about 500 different sets of eyes throughout the week on a tape delay basis, I guess you call it. And remember, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, X, and soon to be Rumble. Podcast during the week. Don't forget on bigpatriotradio.com. That's the other place we're located. It's simulcast right now all over the world. That is bigpatriotradio.com. You can listen to us wherever you are around the world. Unless you're in a few countries, probably we're not streaming out there in Iraq or Iran, Yemen, places like that. Anyway, Sunday nights we have Andrew Southwick and Culture Crossroads on our station at 7 o'clock. On Mondays, we have David and Jordan Cox from up in Easley, South Carolina, and the New American Movement. That is at 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock on Monday evenings. Wednesday night, we have the number one rated show on the network. That is Corey Allen and the Overton Report. That is at 8 o'clock and then in the 9 o'clock hour as a replay. And starting this week in the Thursdays, it's us. But on Saturday nights at 7 o'clock, you will be able, starting this Saturday, we're planning to have the Southern Sense radio show. That'll be at 7 o'clock p.m. on Saturday nights on bigpatriotradio.com. That is Annie, the radio chickadee Ubellis. You're not going to want to miss a show that she has along with the others. She's going to be on Saturdays at 7 o'clock. Glad to have her with us. Don't forget also, before we get into things here, we want to hear from you. All you got to do is get in your chat bar, your chat room, your whatever you want to call it. Tweet it out or Facebook it out or whatever. We'll get it here. We'll put it on the screen if it's something we can talk about. We want to hear from you. That's a big part of the show. Also, don't forget, you see it going across the bottom of your screen. That is the ticker to our Patreon channel. Love to have folks become members of our Patreon channel. There you can make a monthly small donation to help keep independent news and radio alive throughout, not only here in South Carolina, but all across the country. So join us there on patreon.com. What else before we get going? One thing about it, any kind of, whether it's contribution, donation, whatever you want to call it, no matter how big or how small, independent news and journalism and media keeps alive that way. The big mainstream media doesn't want people like myself or Annie Ubellis or Corey Allen or David Cox and Jordan Cox. They don't want us doing this because we're giving you the truth. We're giving you really what's going on. They're giving you what they want you to know. But with your support, that can continue to happen.
Everything that rocks is right here. Right here.
Let's rock.
With Big Patriot Radio.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right, the number one song this past week on bigpatriotradio.com, going back to the 1980s, Def Leppard and Armageddon was the number one song requested. And number one city in listeners, Bluffton, right here at the house, Bluffton, South Carolina, ahead of Beaufort, South Carolina, and Florence, South Carolina. Haven't seen too many people from Florence on here in a while, but glad to have you here with us.
Locked and loaded.
Let's go.
Big Patriot Radio. Blues, news, country pop, and classic rock.
And, the topic of the show is if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, you take it from there. A lot of stuff going on the show tonight. During the day, it was on, it was off, it was on, it was off. We had hoped to have U.S. Congresswoman Nancy Mace from the South Carolina 1st District on the show, but at about 15 minutes before the top of the hour, got an email from her, I believe it's her communications director or whatever, that some things had come up. And I know Congresswoman Mace is on the Armed Services Committee, and I'm sure with what's going on around the world, there's a lot of stuff. So she will not be on here tonight. Next week, we will have Bill Young, Republican, who's running for the South Carolina 1st Congressional District against Nancy and Catherine Templeton. Bill Young will be on here, former Marine. Had a good chat with him just a few days ago. And seems like a super nice guy. Can't wait to learn a little bit more about him. We'll have Nancy on here as her schedule allows, and still trying to get in touch with Catherine Templeton's communications folks. Catherine and I have talked a couple times, but need to get to her communication folks. So anyway, last week we did a quick rundown. Actually, we started it 2 weeks ago. A quick rundown on these socialist Democrats, as I call them, who, I mean, by their own, what they do, that's what they are, filed to run against the entire Beaufort County, man, that hurts, Beaufort County delegation in the South Carolina House of Representatives, including the state Senate, our very own Tom Davis, and one of our county council members, Logan Cunningham. A whole slew, it's like five of these socialist Democrats who have filed to run against them. Last week, we gave a big highlight out to the opponent of Weston Newton, a lady named Kate Creech, who is a self-admitted, she is a adorer, I think she called it, adorer of abortion, said she will aid and abet in abortion. Now, since we shared that, she's removed that from her Facebook page, but once you put it out there and hit send, it's there forever. Anyway, that was last week. This week, we have picked out of the bucket House Representative Republican Shannon Erickson. We want to talk a little bit about her opponent. Now, Shannon Erickson represents District 124, which is basically, you know, Beaufort, Ladies Island, Port Royal, that kind of swath in through there, a big swath of Beaufort proper. Representative Erickson is a small business owner in the field of what I'm going to call pre-elementary education, some sort of like daycare. I mean, she's got several facilities. Last time I checked, she is the chairwoman of the South Carolina House of Representatives Education Committee. One of the, in my opinion, if you could rank a committee by influence and equate that to power, and not in a negative way, but in a positive way of how much is relied upon that. She's a chairwoman of the Education Committee, and that is up there. Actually, Weston Newton, right here in Beaufort County, he's the chair of the Judiciary. And in my opinion, and other people may have different opinion, and that's okay. The Judiciary is probably the most important or most powerful or whatever you want to call it, committee. Education and Ways and Means, which, oddly enough, Dilbert Kurzman, he sits on the Ways and Means Committee as chair of a couple subcommittees, I believe. Very, very influential folks from Beaufort County in the South Carolina House of Representatives. To have the position that Representative Erickson has as the chair of the Education Committee, held by someone in our own county, that is a huge, and I'm not even doing it justice, but a huge feather in the cap for all the citizens of Beaufort County. You got to stop and think about this for a second. The chair of the Education Committee for the South Carolina House of Representatives. I mean, this is right up there at the very tip top of getting things done. We have that in Beaufort County. Judiciary. Okay, we have that in Beaufort County with Representative Newton. Now, there's a lot of responsibility with that. Don't get me wrong. And as always, we hold people to their feet to the fire. But I'll have to say, as I did with Representative Newton, who's doing a fine job, Representative Erickson is a fantastic chair of the Education Committee. She is being opposed by, again, a socialist Democrat, Melinda Henrickson of Beaufort. Now, Henrickson is one of the 5 Democrats who they all filed at somewhat together the same time in a show of prowess or force or something for the Democrat Party against conservatives here in Beaufort County. The ironic thing is that the Democrat Party, and I used to know who ran the party here in the county. I don't know if that person is changed or whatever, but they could not. The ironic thing is that they could not have picked 5 people of less experience or ability to sit as an elected, be it county council, the state house of representatives, or our state senate. They couldn't have picked 5 less qualified people. This is like one of the top 5 flubs I've ever seen with the Beaufort County Democrat Party. Anyhow, be that as it may, Henrickson is also a small business owner. She owns a boutique in downtown Beaufort. This is where the interesting things begin. And I applaud her for being a business owner. As one myself, it takes something to do that. Just like with Shannon Erickson, it takes something to be that business owner. Anyway, Henrickson is the head of the FABB, Families Against Book Banning Group, that began in 2023, which by its name alone, to maybe someone listening in Dallas, Texas right now, may sound benign, but that is usual for Democrats. It really means something else. I mean, how many times have you seen Democrats, especially socialist Democrats or Marxist type Democrats, leaning on that edge of Marxism, say something but really mean something else, and say it out of both corners of their mouth, looking at you straight on? It's amazing how they can do this. Henrickson she's an advocate for complete access to unabridged abortion. As she has been documented well documented, video, audio, in typing, whatever, along with the Beast of Ladies Island in their comedic get-ups together as the Handmaid's Tales that they go out and they dress up kind of like a Comic-Con thing, kind of a weird situation. They've got the two of them, and then there's some other lady dressing up as the Handmaid's Tales at many Beaufort events. I guess they think this is positive reinforcement or is looked upon as professionalism. They even have shown up at many of Representative Erickson's events across the years, obviously to make a statement. Henrickson, along with the Beast of Ladies Island, throws insults and accusations. They've done it to Erickson. I have documents of that over the years. But they want you to think, and who is they? They would be Henrickson and her campaign manager, which happens to be the Beast of Ladies Island. They want you to think that Melinda Henrickson is all for Beaufort, or all of Beaufort, or I support us all, she says, kind of thing. Folks, let me tell you something. Nothing could be further from the truth. Henrickson's Twitter profile says she is a, quote, angelic troublemaker, pragmatic idealist, empire builder, a little nerdy, a lot awkward, flaming liberal, random AF. And I'm sure we all know what AF means. Now, that alone by itself is something that I really want to see in our state representative in the General Assembly. Don't you? Isn't that what we all want to see? Her website even says, quote, Henrickson is a passionate advocate for social justice and equity, committed to fighting for a fair and inclusive society, end quote. So, she hit on most of the buzzwords for the Democrats, the social Democrats. They have to hit those buzzwords to be able to not get their cohorts or colleagues all giddy-fied. They have to say these things to get them to feel like they're part of the Democrat socialist team. So that statement is also quite laughable, as she was she's as much of an inclusive society as much as humans want to be sick. That's how inclusive she is. What did you just say? She's not inclusive. She doesn't want to be inclusive. She wants to be as much inclusive as I want to be sick. It doesn't want, that's not a thing. Okay. Now she tells you she wants to be inclusive. She wants to be equitable. She wants to be, did she use the word diverse? No, that's the only word she didn't use. But they really don't, because they want you to do what they say, how they say, when they say, or you are some repulsive, obviously conservative, obviously white person, dehumanized. That's how socialist Democrats think. When are we going to learn about this? Anyway, Henrickson, by her own comments and her associates, as well as actions, is looking for a society that believes what she wants them to believe. Now, all mainstream media has been talking about this long enough where we all should start to see the light through socialist Democrats and their behavior patterns. She believes she tells you what you need to believe in through the guise of it being equitable and fair and inclusive. She is the antithesis of inclusion. That's right. Melinda Henrickson is the antithesis of inclusion. Rather, she is the socialist exclusionary queen. By all accounts, look at her history, and this is nothing personal. This is strictly political. If you look at her background, the things she says, does, posts, people she hangs around with, she is a socialist exclusionary queen. So far, we know she's an absolutist for abortion anywhere, anytime, any means. And if you don't, you're damning women. You are denying health care. You are horrible if you don't agree with that. She is a socialist inclusivist. She is also what some would say an alleged race apologist, which is one of the most sickening things. You want to play on race for apologies to get nothing more than clickbait and votes. That's pretty twisted. That's what socialized Democrats do. The same with Marxist-based Democrats, if you will. Al Flowers checking in, my good friend. It's a red state mystery. State finds $1.8 billion in secret account and does not know where it's from. Absolutely. Maybe we'll talk about that here in a little bit. We did last week. We can bring it up again, maybe in the next segment. Back to this Henrickson gal. The highlight of her being, if you will, is that she is the head of the snake. She is the head of the snake, advocating for students in any and every grade of public education to have full and unfettered access to books in public school libraries from subjects such as drug use, child sex, rape, incest, anal sex, animal sex, gay porn, regular porn, just to name a few. That's right. If you are the parent of, let's say, Bobby, who's 8 years old and wants to go to the library, Melinda Henrickson thinks it's okay to have that book that says, Gender Queer, which is one of the most horrible books of all time, right on the end cap, and it's pretty red and green and yellow. Attraction colors, where Bobby, as any 8-year-old, would be attracted to those colors. That's how cereals sell, by the way. Red is the number one attractive to a child's eye. Anyway, so back to the book. They see that book and they want to take that book. Melinda Henrickson is okay with that. It's okay at 8 years old to learn about how to give and receive a blowjob, according to Melinda Henrickson. That's right. And if you don't like that, you're a book banner. This is all by her actions as well as lack thereof, equally, on occasion throughout the last, I know it's the last year. It may even be like 18 months. It's been a process. I I do, in all fairness, I salute her tenacity. Literally every month of the book review process, she regularly FOIA'd, Freedom of Information Act, all of the records from either myself or the other complainant, Ivy Zalai of Beaufort, from the school district. You can find these records it's all public information. We see all the times that she FOIA'd everything we did anything, she wanted a copy of it, which I wear that as a badge of honor. And speaking of the Ivy Zalai, in relationship to this is going to be the low point, in my opinion, of Ms. Henrickson, the low point. Okay. Or should I say her spouse, not really her, but she is married to him, is that during this process, the book review, we all encountered weekly attacks in person, the newspaper, social media. Henrickson and the Beast of Ladies Island even put it out there. We had a Republican meeting at a coffee shop on Ladies Island. Had nothing to do with the books, but yet they put it out there. These people are here. We're watching them. Don't go here anymore. Don't buy their coffee. Don't buy their pastries. I mean, disgusting behavior. Anyway, Henrickson's husband put it out there on social media, the address, information, the phone number, all the contact information, the whereabouts of Zalai and her family, and that people should reach out to her and, quote unquote, kind of paraphrasing, and complain about these book banners because we're bad people. Completely. That's not only in poor taste, that is sophomoric, and it's juvenile, it's infantile, and it just goes to show what kind of people this really is. Now, with that being said, I don't expect anything better than that from her husband, but Melinda Henrickson has the opportunity right now. And I know there's someone on her street that is actually watching this show. We have that ability to see where you are. She has the opportunity right now, Melinda, right now. Get on your little chat bar, make a public apology for your husband and his infantile attack and call to action on Ivy Zalai. Will you do that? You don't want to do it here? That's fine. Go on Facebook and do it. Make a Facebook reel. Go on YouTube and make a little thing, whatever they call it. Go on Twitter. Are you ready for that, Beaufort? Are you ready for someone who does this kind of stuff? I asked Henrickson, are you really for all of Beaufort? Are you really? We don't need to bullshit each other. We know the game. You're entering the game as with your campaign manager, the Beast of Ladies Island. You're about to get in a game that I don't think you understand the rules to. And yet you have your spouse out here sending out public information of a someone who is doing their civic duty, in their opinion. And he's sending out public information of address, phone number, all that kind of stuff. Is that what a state representative and their family does? I don't think so. So you have the opportunity, Melinda. You can do it right now. You can make that apology, not to the people of Beaufort. Nah, even though you should, but you need to make that apology to Ivy Zalai and her family. Now, interestingly enough, Henrickson has a statement on her website, and it is very, very interesting. Here's what it reads. Quote, she believes that everyone deserves access to high quality public education and economic opportunity, regardless of their race, gender, sexual orientation, or socioeconomic status, end quote. Al, coming back on, did the Bridget Fraser drama get swept under the rug, broomed under the rug? Is that an Ohio thing, buddy? Or are we not allowed to discuss it? Absolutely, we can discuss it. Bring that up. You're making my list get long. Just keep Keep that on the back burner and bring that up. Bring that up because no, we have not swept that under the rug. No. And I do have some information for you. So my problem with Henrickson's statement is this. Don't we already have that? Public education is available to everyone. Last I checked, even in South Carolina, boy, girl, white, black, Hispanic, Asian, even alien, tall, short, fat, skinny, rich or poor. It's available to everyone. It's the socialist and Marxist believing Democrats that use this kind of thinking, that this is her only platform along with abortion. This kind of thinking for perverse confusion. It's like saying we need to pass laws, and I'm speaking today, we need to pass a law right now for women and their right to vote. Do they not already have that right? I fully support it. I think they already have that right. Is something going on I don't know about? Last I checked, we could all send our kids to public schools for public education. It didn't cost you anything. I mean, that you pay taxes for it, or somebody does. If you're legal, you're not paying taxes either way, but that's another story. So she wants to make it fair and equitable. I thought education was. Now, if you want to send your kid to Beaufort Academy or Thomas Hayward or Cross or John Paul II, those are private schools. Yeah, you got to pay for that. And no, just you don't have a right to go there because it's another school. Now, public schools, yes, public charter schools, absolutely. Anyway, these are typical playbook statements by the same party who has brought you prices at the grocery store. And now this is where I want you to really pay attention, because a vote for people like Melinda Henrickson is the same as what I'm getting ready to tell you. She is brought to you by the party that has brought you prices at the grocery store right now, where some people need to take out a loan to feed their family. It's always a joke. How many bags did we get for $100? Now did I get a full bag for $100? I mean, it's ridiculous. Groceries are absolutely out of this world. She's part of the same party who has brought record levels of price for gasoline. At the same time, her same party tells us the prices are going down in record numbers because we tell you so. That's why. This is the same party who has lost the ability to be recognized on the world stage as the leader of the free world. Over the last 3 years or so, we're seen as now the weakest former world superpower. The party of Melinda Henrickson is steering us towards war in Europe, the Middle East, and Asia, all at the same time, thanks to Democrat leadership. Think about that. Now, this isn't a pro-Trump or a pro-anybody. This is an anti-socialist Democrat platform that Melinda Henrickson and these other four folks have decided to ride on the coattails. So my answer to you is, or my question to you rather, is, listeners, have you enjoyed paying what you pay at the grocery store lately over the last year? If you have, then vote for somebody like her. If you haven't, then you need to vote for Shannon Erickson. Are you enjoying paying ridiculous amounts for gasoline, even though the Democrats say, the price is going down? If you don't enjoy that, I suggest you vote for people like Shannon Erickson. Are you excited about the possibility of war? I mean, what's the topic around the table these days? Well, it's about prepping. Prepping. Do we have enough water? Do we have enough food? Do we have enough stockpile? Do we have enough gasoline? Do we have enough diesel fuel? Do I have enough firewood? Do I have enough toilet paper? Boom, boom, boom. That should not be the topic of conversation around the dinner table. But under this Democratic leadership, that's where we are. That's the kind of mentality people like Melinda Henrickson, Kate Creech, and the rest of the Democrat society, that's where they have us. This is the same party. This is the Melinda Henrickson party. This is the same party, the Democrats who have led the county, it was Bamberg or Barnwell, one of the two, to having the poorest drinking water rate in the state of South Carolina, mimicking very closely to that of Flint, Michigan several years ago. Remember that? We had the same thing just down the road a piece here in South Carolina. That area, that county, that is a Democrat hotbed. But the Democrat Party calls it a Trump problem. I never understood that. It's a Democrat Jim Clyburn, Margie Bright Matthews kind of problem. They can't fix it or simply do not want to. That's how socialist Democrats work. That's how people like Melinda Henrickson would not work for you in the state house. They either can't fix it or they really don't want to because it's not sexy. It's not pretty. It's not exciting. I don't know about you, but if Melinda Henrickson supports Jim Clyburn, Jim Clyburn, he rubbed elbows with George Washington. He's been in there so long. If she supports Margie Bright Matthews, honestly, I question her intelligence. And I'm not saying she's dumb. I didn't say that. I'm saying if you support Jim Clyburn and you support Margie Bright Matthews, what will you not support? Because I question your mental acuity. Why is it that Democrats continue to say that, and every Democrat does this, why do they continue to say they want a prosperous South Carolina when, in the way they act and behave, they want to keep the working men and women of South Carolina down? Just take one day and watch the South Carolina House and listen to the other side of the aisle, the Democrat side of the aisle, the true Democrats, and some Republicans who are only Republican because that's the only way they win. They don't want to prosper. They want to keep people down because when I have you under my thumb, I have control. And you've been voting Democrat. If you've been voting Democrat, you seriously have been bought off hook, line, and sinker. I'm telling you. I can't speak for everywhere, but I can speak for right here in South Carolina. If you're voting Democrat, you just got snagged. Hook, line, and sinker. It's time that you understand they fooled you. They won. This Democrat Party, the Melinda Henrickson Party, the Melinda Henrickson Socialist Democrat, that is the party of slavery. If you're still battling slavery in your mind, and maybe you are, whatever, why are you voting Democrat? That's the last thing you ought to do. Hell, the father of Republicanism in South Carolina, Robert Smalls, a man of color, was from Beaufort. But yeah, he's a man of color, and he fathered the Republican Party in this state. But so many people have been told, well, I'm black. I've got to vote Democrat because that's what we do. Or I'm a white farmer, or I'm a whatever. I'm Asian. I'm Hispanic, and I got to vote for Democrat. You've been told that so long. You've been lied to so long. You end up with people like Melinda Henrickson representing you in the state house, and you go, I just don't get it. Why are we being oppressed? And it's not Republicans. It's not conservatives that are the oppressor. It's those that are telling you who the oppressor is. Is that what Henrickson wants? Is that what she wants? Does she want to be the oppressor? Hey, Helga, I think the second gentleman, excellent way of saying that, visited her and her friend. Yes, he did. The second man, the second gentleman. I don't remember his name. But yes, he was in Beaufort months ago, went to her, took a photo shot. She gave him a shirt from Fab. It was all pretty. Yeah, anyway. My question is, Melinda, is that your philosophy? Is that your philosophy of the Democrat Party? You say it's in writing. You want a South Carolina for all, and I'd like to think that you really sincerely do. I mean, I hope you do. I don't care what flavor politics you're in. I would hope we want a South Carolina for all. I certainly do. I hope you do. But you have these platform ideas, which it's just clickbait from the Democrat Party or the Socialist Party that you're doing here. These platform ideas are nothing but sound bites. That's what it is. You are spreading sound bites for donations from the wealthy. Oh my God, how could you say that? Because that's the truth. That's the truth. You're smart enough to know that you got to raise some money. So sound bites get clicks, and clicks gets donations. I would like to ask Henrickson if she's in favor of something else. These drag queen shows. Have you all seen those? These drag queen shows all across the United States. That it kind of leveled off a little bit, but for a while that was a big thing in public buildings and in private buildings. But there were these drag shows, and there were kids present at these drag shows, and even there's pictures and video of kids putting like dollar bills in the shorts of some of these drag queens. I want to know, do you believe that's proper to have children under the age of 18 at drag queen shows? I'm going to go ahead and jump out on a limb and say, because you think that the 8-year-old Bobby is okay to go to his elementary school or middle school or high school and pick up genderqueer, that's no problem. I got a feeling, Melinda Henrickson, you're probably okay with a drag queen show at the school. I have that feeling. Melinda, do you believe it's okay, it's proper to have them in a publicly funded tax dollar facility? I mean, if you're going to be for all, then you've got to be for all, right? Well, we did reach out to Henrickson, as we have all these ladies, as it happens to be, and the response that we got, I have to share this with you because it was actually pretty funny, and it was very comical, to be quite honest, extremely comical. We were told that all media inquiries were to be emailed to blah 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 at blah blah blah.com, and I say comical as I guess she or her campaign manager, the novice beast of Ladies Island, must think that she is in some kind of congressional campaign. I ran for Congress. We had a media inquiry unit. Even that was very, very minimal. Candidates, here's the other thing, Melinda. Let me give you a little bit of lesson. You should take this from Shannon Erickson because she does this very well. But I'll go ahead and give you this unsolicited advice. You need to be with the candidates. I mean, with the people. Candidates should want to talk to people, not go through the outliers. And you don't need to talk to the people who already are going to vote for you, like the beast. You should talk to people who pretty much aren't going to vote for you, and you should convince them. That's how you gain. I've always said that, while I love the folks, in the conservative party, Republicans, they're not really the one I want to get to and talk to. It's those that may think otherwise, so I can share my views, share my opinions, listen to theirs, and maybe, something gets worked out. That's how you become for all, not for all that agree with me, because that's where you are. That's where you are. So, then again, this is Melinda Henrickson and the Democrats, and they don't want to be held accountable. I don't care what they say, when they say it, watch what they do. They do not want to be held accountable. It is everybody else's problem, not mine. Over the years, having employees, every once in a while, just studying people, I would hear that, or and try to find out like what's your belief system, and there was always a synonymous tie between socialized Democrats and the feeling of entitlement and non-accountability. Why? I don't know. Melinda has some kind of psychological degree or something. Maybe she can tell you that. I don't know, but I know it's there. If she wanted to be held accountable, if she really did, if she believed in listening and conversing with all of Beaufort, she would be here right now. She would reach out on that screen over there. Where is it? It's over here. Let's find my finger. Over here with those comments, she would say, hey, I'm ready to come on. Let's talk. Because that would be awesome. I would welcome her, as I do all. But, all of the social Democrats, they run far and fast. Anyway, but I do know who will be here with us. And I haven't scheduled this. I haven't even talked to her. But I know without a shadow of a doubt, the answer is yes. Our current representative, Shannon Erickson, she'll be here. She'll talk. And when that happens, we hope that you folks that are watching, that are the several of you that are right around the Beast of Ladies Island area, we hope you'll join us. Maybe you'll learn something. Shannon and I might not agree. And here's the kicker. I said earlier that I gave you a synopsis of what these socialized Democrats behave like. They tell you one thing, but do another. No accountability. It's a very disgusting, distasteful behavior. So here's how it works in reality, Melinda. Shannon and I might not agree 100% on everything. I don't know that we ever have agreed 100% on everything, or 100% of the time. And that's a good thing. That's a healthy thing. What Shannon Erickson has done for the community in Beaufort County, for the entire state of South Carolina, is remarkable. And I commend her for being such a stalwart, especially in the fight of education. One of my platforms was at some point we need to completely do away, disband, shut it down, whatever, the federal Department of Education. There is nothing in the Constitution that says there needs to be a federal Department of Education. That $60 billion or whatever it is now needs to be shut down, and it needs to be controlled at the state level. Shannon truly understands that education is a state issue and a local issue, not a federal issue. She is a champion for the right thing to be done. She is a champion of integrity, and she is a voice for everyone here in Beaufort County in Columbia. That's what a real leader is. Just in this current session. And I hope somebody sends this over to Melinda to let her know. Shannon has sponsored some bills that have streamlined some of the administrative processes here and there. One of these is the administrative process for bridge building, road building, et cetera, to reduce time, action time, and reduce costs. She's also, at the same time, increase accountability and increase completion time for public use. She has sponsored House Bill 3773, a health services bill. It eliminated and repealed some provisions of not requiring parental consent on some health issues. She sponsored House Bill 3843, streamlined and addressed the falsifying of documents in school enrollments, creating a more fairer system for all. She sponsored a bill that allowed for provisions of using EpiPens, as a life-saving medication for youth in all public schools. This is stuff that we do, or that she's doing, leaders do for all. That's the real all. not the hyperbole all that you hear from the Melinda Henricksons. Shannon Erickson is giving you real work for all. She created House Bill 4280, known as the Educator Assistance Act, eliminating some of the red tape and certifications across the state, and she had this passed by the House by 111-0 vote. That's remarkable in and of itself. She created House Bill 4467, known as the Life Scholarship Act, which would increase the studies or the classes from medical to accounting to all the different types of studies. It increases the studies that can apply for the Life Scholarship, thereby increasing the number of students who may receive financial assistance. Again, this is for all. She created House Bill 4673, which passed in the House by another vote of 111-0. That would make it easier across the board for all people to get a beginner's permit for driving. How is that not for all? She has introduced House Bill 5022, requiring all public schools to provide school meals for all students, not just a select few, thereby expanding this for everyone. That is for all of Beaufort County. Expanding it for everyone. This is a privilege and a right. She has introduced House Bill 5104 and 5105 that would give those members of the military that got out, that had training and education in certain disciplines, the ability to use that education and credits toward professional licensure in South Carolina for the private sector, thereby creates a bigger workforce, could create a better workforce, creates a more profitable workforce, and creates a healthier community and economy. All. What else did Shannon do? Well, she produced House Bill 5164, eliminated waste in the Education Scholarship Trust Fund. She created a bill to eliminate waste in the Education Scholarship Trust Fund. Wow. Erickson created House Bill 5349. That's to be known as the PATH Act, the Palmetto Access to Higher Ed Act, creating a new scholarship stream for students in South Carolina. All. And that's just some of the bills during this current session. She's been in the seat since 2007 or 8, I believe. Amazing things for all of Beaufort County, for all of South Carolina, actually. So Shannon Erickson, Representative Erickson, is a promoter of an exuberance of grace. I could not think of a better person to represent the men, women, children of District 124 other than Shannon Erickson. Period. End of story. Now, if, again, Melinda Henrickson wants to come on here, she's more than welcome. Love to have her. The opportunity is yours. All you got to do is ask. Anyway, it is 7:54, about 5 minutes before the top of the hour.
Wickedness and filth this world has to offer.
Rock music that shatters your bones. Big Patriot Radio.
That's some serious rock.
And you're responsible.
So anyway, that's the 30,000-foot view. And I've already said this, but I'm going to say it again now that, I offer an open mic to any and all candidates for office. It doesn't matter what sphere you're in. I don't care. You get the same amount of time as anybody else. Please, love to have you on this show. I won't bite. I'll give you the microphone, hear your story, and we'll take it from there. If any of you, these candidates for office that aren't in office, if you'd like to have a debate or a forum with any of the incumbents, let me know, because we can probably arrange that as well. Next week, what's next week? We're going to take a look at another Democrat, Charity Owens, opponent of one of our current Beaufort delegation members, Bill Herb Kurzman of District 118. Charity Owens, you're on the block next week here on Beaufort's House of Cards.
Locked and loaded.
Let's go.
Patriot Radio. Blues, news, country pop, and classic rock.
All right, let's go back here. A couple of the comments. Let's see here. Al Flowers. Yeah, the state found, $1.8 billion. Actually found more than that. There was like a $3 billion problem, but then they found a $1.8 billion surplus in some secret account, and they don't know where it's from. So, there's been a lot of controversy over this, a lot of arguments. The state comptroller, David Ekstrom, lost his job over it, which, as someone who's an outsider, I totally agree with that. The state comptroller's office is there to do the books. They do the book. They're the debit and the credit side. They run the ledger. That's what the comptroller does. Now, as of late, the state treasurer was brought into it. There's a panel on the Senate who just last week literally grilled Curtis Loftus, the state treasurer, who is known by many as one of the most honest people in politics in South Carolina. And he's a good guy. I like Curtis. I mean, I don't know. We're not golfing buddies, but I know him well enough to know that I like him. But he got hammered by people like Senator Larry Grooms, Republican out of Berkeley County, who is totally against an audit, does not want an audit. He was against Kirkman Finley getting the job. In other words, where am I going with that? Larry Grooms, another nice guy, is hiding something allegedly. Why were you so hell-bent on not having Kirkman Finley III, a businessman who could have done the state comptroller job easier than whatever? You were hell-bent against that because you didn't want the audit done. Why, Larry? You should have been supporting that. What was the other thing I was going to say? Lost my train of thought. So anyway, Loftus was just obliterated by Larry Grooms. He was also Margie Bright Matthews sat on that and just ripped him a new one. There was two others. One was a Democrat, one was a Republican, but they just hammered him. I mean, they hammered him, and I think it's unfair. Why do I think it's unfair? Well, because all the treasurer is there to do is invest the money of the state and cut checks. Now, there has been some people who've said, well, he has something to do with that. He should have known. Look, I don't know the idiosyncrasies of those jobs. If I did, I'd run for one or I'd be one, but I'm not, so I don't. But looking at it from a county level, the auditor does this, the treasurer does that, and the assessor does this. That's all separate for a reason. It's the same at the state. The comptroller does the books. This is a books problem. This is a debit and credit problem on the ledger. There's a compartmentalized, departmentalized problem. Some money didn't get written down. We have a surplus. Here's my thought to this, Al. While the state is food barring this issue and figuring out where it is, what do you do with the money? You give it back to the people. You give it back to the people. Then there's a big argument about this. No, people like Larry Grooms. No, we should keep it and reinvest it and do blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. I think it's even in the South Carolina Code of Laws that a surplus must be given back. It's either there or the Constitution of the state. It must be given back to the people. This should not be even thought about. $1.8 billion. If you were to give that back to the state taxpayers, which there's 1.4 million of, I think, 1.44 million, that comes up to about $1,250 per taxpayer in either a check or a credit, whatever. $1,250 is $1,250. Is there anybody out there that has the thought that would not be the most beneficial for the people of South Carolina to have their own money back? If there is, please show me that person, because that is a whack job. Period. Whatever. We got people on here tonight from Virginia. We've got people from West Virginia, New Mexico, Georgia, a lot of Georgia, North Carolina. If your state had the ability to send you $1,250 back because there was a surplus, or we'll keep it and reinvest it for you. What say you, other states? I dare say 98% of the people will say, send that back to the taxpayer. Why are you asking me such a stupid ass question? So I don't know if that answers everything. The state's got to figure out, they got a new, matter of fact, here's a winner. The governor appointed a Democrat as the state comptroller. Henry, you really effed up there, brother. I don't get that. That was not the smart move. Be that as it may, he won't be around for forever anyhow. You all figure it out. Get your book straight. Quit harassing Curtis Loftus, the treasurer. You all get your books together. And in the meantime, send that money back to the people where it belongs. It's their money. It's not your money. Jeez. Unbelievable bullshit from the state. Did the Bridget Fraser drama get broomed under the rug? I still like that. I've never heard of that. Swept under the rug, but broomed under the rug. Or are we not allowed to discuss it? Absolutely, we can discuss it. And no, it hasn't gotten swept under the rug. I will say this. I do know that a change of venue was sought after, because, Bridget Fraser, town councilwoman, she got out of jail so early because the wife of local magistrate Clifford Bush III made a phone call. And this is her saying this. This isn't Mike saying this. This isn't alleged. This is what the wife of Clifford Bush III said. She said, I made a phone call, and within an hour, Bridget Fraser was out of jail. Whatever. The system assigned the case. Guess who the judge was assigned to this? Clifford Bush III. So major red flag. Major red flag, no matter who that is. That is way too that's like comically too close. Well, a change of venue was put in or whatever, and it was awarded. It was moved from Bluffton Magistrate to Beaufort. Now, I think it was set for like end of April or May or something. I do know, doesn't matter how I know this, but I do know that it is usual and customary in a case like this that if the person gets their driver's license unsuspended or whatever you call, whatever, that the case may be dropped. I disagree with that totally. But that's not for me to make, say or do. I do know that I won't be surprised if the case gets dropped, if Mrs. Fraser does finally get her driver's license fixed. Now, let's just be clear here. This isn't her first time, as she and others in the community have said. This is like the third time, at least, being arrested for DUS, not for DUI. Just making it clear that we all understand that this is not the first time. So just thought I'd throw that out there, but it still bears to be watched. Helga, Freedom Caucus wants the state to give it back to the people. Legislation is being drafted. Okay, you're talking about the thing with the treasurer. I agree. Legislation should be drafted. Unfortunately, the Republican caucus, the Freedom Caucus and the Republican caucus are like this, and the Democrats are in the background laughing their ass off. They'll fight that. Watch that. Watch the House members who fight. And hey, I hope everybody calls and says, man, you're wrong. They all voted to do it. That's great. because that's the most important thing. The people are the most important thing. Watch those who say, no, don't give it back to the citizens. Give their money. Don't give their money back to them. Give their money to the state to build something with, so we don't tax them more. Watch that. Watch that. Anyway, for the past 2 weeks, we've been sharing some proof positive data, not alleged information. It's proof positive on Beaufort County Council Chairman, the vice chairman, and now one of the council members of actions and behaviors that cannot be tolerated. I talked to several people today about this. This channel has called for the two in leadership, that's chair and vice chair, along with Councilwoman Howard, to resign. Period. Point blank, you need to resign. And they need to do it now. Failure to do so is only going to allow for more material to be released, more whistleblowers to come forward. There's one I had hoped to have on tonight, but his schedule is that he can't do it. But next week, I believe it's next week, he will be on here. They're going to come forward. There are more in the background that are going to be coming forward. So far, we had Eric Greenway, terminated county administrator. We've had Shannon Loper, terminated Parks and Recreation director, both ironically, who have told a much different set of stories from what the county tells, but both, however, have similar themes. So we've made some conclusion. It's my conclusion that they both have been made out to be the fall guy or fall girl for the missteps of county council leadership and some council membership. In other words, we're not taking the axe for this shit, but we can get rid of you, and there's a few more along the line that will. We haven't stopped digging, and we have another whistleblower, as I just said, coming forward probably 3 or 4 weeks. This is a time, you don't just like that. You have to massage this. This one it'll blow the lid off even more. More the lid, if it's even on anymore, on county council leadership, as well as some of the hierarchy in the county. So my question, and I said this again, like I said today, I said this earlier. The question really is to the viewers, to you viewers out there. That's right, Nancy. The Freedom Caucus work for we the people. I couldn't agree more. The question is, when will you have had enough? When is enough enough? When will the public start calling out for the chairman of county council, the vice chairman of county council, and any other members that we bring forward, like Councilwoman Howard, to resign? I'm not talking about, let's not make this into a January 6th thing. He called for sedition. I'm not saying go to the county council meeting with pitchforks. I'm not saying that. But the public needs to step up and say, we're tired. We have had enough. We demand better. We expect better. You need to resign, or you need to do this or do that or what have you. I get it. I get it that somebody told me today, they were like, well, it was a crass conversation. We think that people enjoy seeing them being brought to public light, like on your show and other shows. And I appreciate that. I really do. I appreciate that. But that's neither here nor there. The public has got to say, we are done. We have had enough. Resign. We're done. And until the public, we can sit on here and we can do this till the cows come home. Over and over and over. I'm one vote. All of you are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of votes. That means so much more than me. You matter. Just this week, I was appalled, literally appalled, at the words coming out of the mouth of Chairman Joe Passman on 2 levels. I want you to know about this. 2 levels. First, at the beginning of public comment of the county council meeting, this is Monday, this 3 days ago or whatever, he says to the public, and I'm quite paraphrasing with this, he says, look, we've got 16 or something people wanting to speak out about Pine Island. How many of you are for it? How many of you are against it? Well, I'm going to take so-and-so comments for, somebody had commented about something else, grass, who knows. I'm going to take so-and-so's comments first about something else. Then I'm going to allow for 10 minutes from that side and 10 minutes from that side, 2 minutes per person. So I want each of you to select 5 people to talk about your side. You got 10 minutes, 2 minutes each. Now, when I heard this, I'm sitting there going, are you frigging kidding me? And in fairness to the chairman, he will defend what I just said. He will defend that by the following. He will say, our rules show that we allow 3 minutes per speaker or 15 minutes total, so I am doing them a favor, sort of thing, which is total bullcrap. So here's the deal, Passament. People come to speak as part of their First Amendment right to keep and maintain power over the government. Let me say that again, Joe and Larry. People come to speak as part of their First Amendment right to keep and maintain power over the government. I'm talking to you, Joe, are limiting people's ability and power to speak. Chairman Miles A. Passament rules above everyone else's First Amendment's rights. That's exactly what he's doing. It's exactly what he's doing. So, what's my solution? I have told people, and it is true, it is in their rule book that, public comment will be 3 minutes per person, a total of 15 minutes. What's my solution? I have told people when I was on council, I'll tell people after, and I've told people to this day, I will sit there till the wee hours of the morning, if necessary, to take the public's comment, the public's voices, the public's wishes. Until they're all heard, business is not done. There are 11 people on county council. There needs to be some people on county council who have, let's just say it, the balls to stand up and say, time out. We're not doing this anymore. We're not limiting our citizens' right to speak. We're not going to step on our citizens because we serve the community. We serve the citizenry, not the government. I want to see that 1, 2, 3, 4 or more people on county council literally have the stones to say, stop, we're done. We're going to sit here until people are done. And however long that takes, that's how long it takes. Because, ladies and gentlemen, watching this show, county council members, town council members, congressmen, congresswomen, House of Representatives, state senators, whatever, they are not the voice of the government. They are the voice of the people. And when they become so deranged and deluded to think that they now have the power and they are the voice of the government, then it is time to remove them. Period. I'm not saying this to run for office. I'm saying you as a public servant need to sit your ass on that dais, wherever that dais is, and listen to those people until they're done. If it's 3 minutes per person, fine. It can't go on forever. But if you've got 50 people who got 50 problems, by golly, you need to sit there like a man or a woman as a public servant and listen to their complaint. Period. But hey, when you have a power trip happy chairman who believes he is there as the representative of the government, as he has said as much, and not the people, this is what you get. This is what you get. This is absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous isn't even explaining it properly. For those county council members who also think this is ridiculous, again, why are you not speaking? I spoke to 3 today. Why are you not speaking out? You have the voice. You have the ability. You are there because we put you there. We can take you out of there. Why are you not speaking up? Out. To say nothing is going along just to get along. Two of the three that I spoke to today, we've had that conversation before. That has been a problem. Saying nothing is going along just to get along. You may do that in your corporate environment, your church community, your civic league, whatever. In government, that's a whole different story, and that is not wise. Going along to get along gets you in problems. We see that in Beaufort County. If that is what your mentality is, just to go along to get along, you are doing this for the wrong reason, and you might as well resign right now as well and go find something else to do, because you're not worth the seat you're sitting in, if that's what you've resulted to. I'm just going to go along to get along. Second point of Czar Passament's ineffectiveness at leadership is this. That very same night, this past Monday, 3 days ago, the subject came up about, he said this, quote, how he wants to create more transparency within the community, so he's having community meetings all over the county about the proposed referendum on the $1.625 billion tax increase, end quote. Matter of fact, there's a meeting tonight. It's probably over by now. I know there was somebody in the meeting because I got it pinned, or whatever you call it, pinned. Someone was in there watching earlier. Not now. Anyway, his first admission of needing to provide more transparency, that should be your first clue, but that would be admirable if he meant it, but he doesn't. Remember what we talked about with socialist Democrats? Now, he says he's a Republican. Maybe he is, but this sure smells like a socialist Democrat, and if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, but I digress. Why doesn't he mean it? Because as soon as he said it, he limits the meetings to only the proposed referendum. Then verbatim, he says this is verbatim. This is what he says about these meetings. One of them was tonight. He said, let me get to it. This is to educate you people about the referendum and how this will enhance and help the county roads and services. First of all, you people, anybody that says that to me can kiss my ass. You people. This is going to educate you people. Anyway, buzz off, Junior. Next, okay, it's against the South Carolina Code of Laws for a county council member, a board of supervisor member, a town council member, whatever, to advocate for or against any type of referendum, period. Now, one of the people I talked to today said, well, I think that only begins after the third reading. That in and of itself, to me, is an ignorant statement. I'm not saying this person was ignorant. I'm saying it's an ignorant statement. Because if you shouldn't be talking about it for or against, it shouldn't, that should be period. You shouldn't have the attitude, well, we can do it up to the third reading and then we've got to back off. That's bullshit. That's horseplay. Again, grow a set of balls, county council. If you're not supposed to talk about it in an advocational way for or against, then you shouldn't be doing it. This is for the people to decide. The people don't need to be educated for you people to be educated, Joe. They're not idiots. The information needs to be put out there. and let them decide. You, as a county council person, and the other 10 should stay out of it. You should not advocate for or against any public referendum. To do it, you've tainted it. Tonight, I haven't heard from anyone, but assuming you were for, you made the public opinion known that you're for this, because that's why you're doing this, you've tainted the process. Well, when, I said this a minute ago, folks, when will you have had enough? And again, to the council members, if you are not saying anything about these things that I've said for the last hour, or actually half hour, because you're just going along to get along, you're doing this for the wrong reason. You're tainted. That's right. If you're on county council and you know this is wrong, but you're doing nothing about it, you just got to go along because that's what Joe said, or that's what the vice chair said, or that's what the committee chair said, and I'm just doing what they tell me, you're in it for the wrong reason. You're doing the wrong job. You let somebody else do it. You are the representative of the people, not the government. A couple of weeks ago, Passament sent out an email to his members, and I quote, "You received an email last night regarding the HSB, which is Hainsworth Sinkler Boyd investigation." And in all caps, he says, "Do not reply to this email or any other email regarding this matter. Any reply, especially reply all, will constitute an electronic meeting and be subject to FOIA." I said this 2 weeks ago. I said this last week. I'm going to say it again because this is one of the most highly unethical things you could have done, Joe. This is about as non-transparent as you can get. You tell everybody, I want to have more transparency, so we're going to have these countywide meetings, which is smoke and mirrors, a bunch of baloney, total bullshit, because behind the scenes, behind the eyes of the people, you say things like this. Hey, he was emailing county council members, and I have the email. Don't reply to this or especially all any regarding this matter because it will become an electronic meeting and subject to FOIA. In other words, we don't want people to know what we're talking about. I appreciate the council member who said, just like I did with the Ashley Jacobs situation, because this email came out because of a leak. Someone leaked it. And just like I spoke out, I had enough when the Rodmans and the Somervilles and the Passaments and McKellans were doing what they did to Ashley Jacobs, which is completely wrong. I said, enough is enough. I literally, when I spoke to the newspapers and the television stations, I said, folks, I cannot lay my head down knowing the people of Beaufort County are getting screwed royally. It happened then. It's happening now. Chairman, you need to resign, and you need to resign now. Period. The more time passes, the more your alleged misdeeds are coming to light. Do you want to keep going? The picture is painted almost perfectly, unfortunately. At the center of all this, it's not Eric Greenway, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, he did some things that without question, he's already said he wish he could have done different. But he's not the fall guy for this entire thing. We have shown this as plainly as any trial put on public display. The chairman and the vice chairman of county council is where the microscope needs to be given. So while the chairman, when you decide to resign, you might want to advise your buddy to the vice chair to do that as well, because it ain't looking real good for him. Then we went to the Shannon Loper story. I'm sure you were all here for that. Now we see a completely different story. The picture is a different color. It doesn't appear that she is at the center of that whole thing either. it points right back to county council, chair and vice chair, Councilwoman Howard, and the county's or the county attorney's office. Shannon Loper is not the fall girl in this. There's so many missteps and things done that people are saying, they're coming to light saying, no, that's not what happened. This is what happened. Hence, vis-a-vis the whistleblowers. More are coming until we get to the bottom of this. We've got to get to the bottom of this. Well, why? Someone said earlier today, well, why would you call for Councilwoman Howard's, to resign? What's that? Because she knew about the park, the playground, 3 months before it happened. She knew about it. She and the chairman are the ones who said, what a gangbuster idea. It's the county attorney's office who told Shannon Loper, council said do it. I'm here to tell you to do it. Everybody got to sign off on it. Do it. You need to go do it. Saving the county, all this money. Someone else brought up, yeah, but she spent, $800,000 when there was only $500,000, but she was told to do it. She's not the finance director. She's not the procurement director. She's not the county administrator. She's a Parks and Rec director. She was told, do it. You have the approval, she was told. How is she the fallback person? Yeah, I don't know. Seems a little strange, but that's just me. Anyway, thanks for being here tonight. We're coming up on the bottom of the hour. Huge crowd on all forms of the show tonight. Don't forget, become a member of patreon.com /Buford House of Cards. Love to have your help. Helps keep things going here, keeps the lights on and the radio station moving. Lets us get in all these FOIAs that we do. That costs money. We can use your help. Stay tuned daily because things are happening quicker than you think, both here locally, across the state, across the country, and around the world. Let us know if you have a tip or a story you want to share. If you're a former or a current Beaufort County employee and want to tell your story, let us know. Do you hold it in complete confidence? Absolutely. Let us know. I have people all the time. People know I don't give up my sources. That's not how you work in this biz. Haven't done it yet and not going to do it. So if you have something to share and it wants to be off the record, we respect that and we will hold that. You can email us. Let me see if I have. Yes, there's my email, bigpatriotradio@gmail.com. Feel free to shoot us an email if you have a story you want us to work on or something along those lines. We went live this week on YouTube with some things going on over in the Middle East, and that we were on live doing not a remote, but a simulcast almost all night long. That will keep up as things continue to heat up in the Middle East, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, until next week, and we're going to have Bill Young, who is running for U.S. Congress, South Carolina 1st congressional seat against Nancy Mace. Bill Young, he will be on here next week, and we've got another whistleblower, like I said, who's we're trying to work out a time with his work schedule and so forth. We'll get him on here. You'll want to not miss this. Another story from Beaufort County that will blow the roof off. So until next week, keep those lines tight. 6. Thanks a lot, everybody.